Hello, Monday Night Yoga. I have missed you guys. Welcome to my home. This is something brand new to me, so we'll see how it goes. A little bit weird not having to stand here and wait for you guys to stop talking. So it's very quiet in my home today. Anyway, I've missed Monday Night Yoga. I'm going to give this a go, see how it works, and hopefully you can join along with me and we'll find this beneficial to your health and wellness through this time of separation. So starting seated, feel free to grab a block or a cushion if you have one. I'm going to try and take our Monday classes through some different options, hoping to do next week a chair yoga class. So stay tuned for something that's kind of new and being able to use props and things that you have in your home. So come down into a seated position, sitting nice and tall. Find those sit bones beneath you, lifting up tall from them. Go ahead and just bring your hands to your side or down in front, whatever's most comfortable. I'm going to get you to close your eyes and just listen to my voice, and hopefully I am loud enough to hear me. And I want you just to settle into your sit bones, finding that evenness between both sit bones and through the pelvic floor. And just take a mental scan of your body, starting down at your toes, giving them a little wiggle, and just let them soften into the earth beneath them. Start to come up through the legs, through the joints, into the hip joints. Maybe add a little bit of a wiggle if you'd like. And then slowly start to lift the pelvic floor up away from your floor or your block, whatever you're sitting on. Continue to draw in through the navel and lift up through the spine, one vertebrae at a time. We're going to tuck our chin in just slightly, bringing those ears over top of the shoulders and keeping those shoulders over top of the hips. Feel that lift of the crown as you reach up through the back of the neck and lifting up tall to the sky. Just allow the muscles of the face to soften. Relax into the jaw. And allow your throat to open. And just allow the day's activities to drift away. Maybe they were busy, maybe they weren't. That's okay. And I want you just to settle in on your breath and just follow the movement of your breath as you inhale in through your nose and exhale through the nose. And just notice where that breath is flowing. Is it moving into the lungs? Does it move into the belly? Does it move into both? Do your shoulders rise and fall? Or can you keep that neck long, the tips of the shoulders rolled back slightly? Feeling a slight lift of the breastbone. And just keeping that breath nice and soft. On our next breath, we're going to inhale just into our belly cavity. Feeling our belly expand wide like a balloon. And exhale, drawing that navel back towards the spine. Inhaling deeply. And exhaling completely. Allowing each breath to lengthen and deepen. With every inhalation and exhalation. You want to keep that breath relaxed and full. Feeling the hollowness in the back of the throat as we inhale, as if we were yawning. And feeling the gentle vibrations on the roof of the mouth as we exhale. As if we were fogging up a mirror. Maybe find a little audible noise as you exhale. Sounds of the ocean with your breath. And on our next breath, let's inhale into our belly. Continue up through the diaphragm and wide into the rib cage, feeling the expansion through the side and the front body, but not through the shoulders. Exhaling from the lungs, out the belly and out the nose. Inhale in through the nose, into the belly, wide through the waist, open up through the lungs, and exhale. And inhale. This time, as you exhale, draw your navel in towards your spine and start to round your spine back. Tuck the chin down towards the chest. And as you inhale, draw the chest forward, bring the shoulders back. Open up through the heart. Exhale, round out. Inhale, lift up. And exhale. And lift. We're going to start to move that rib cage in a circular movement. Exhaling back, drawing around to the side and open up. And exhale, draw back off to the other side. Inhale, off to that left, open up, and exhale. Let's do 2 more in this direction. Exhale. And 1 more. You can use the hands to assist the body moving forward. And then let's start to move in the other direction. Just finding a little bit of looseness through the hips, through the vertebrae, through the ribs. Let's take 2 more deep breaths. Inhale wide. And exhale, navel to spine. And 1 more breath. And exhale. Let's bring yourself tall. Roll the shoulders back and inhale the arms all the way up. Let's exhale, just let them float down. And inhale, lift them all the way up. And exhale. This time, inhale all the way up. We're going to turn to our left side and just roll open, looking towards that back shoulder. Inhale all the way up tall. And exhale, draw those elbows into the rib cage. Open up through the chest, a little bit more energy here. Inhale, lift up. Exhale and roll open to that left side or right side. And inhale, lift up. And exhale. Let's take 2 more deep breaths. Exhale to roll open. And inhale, lift up. Elbows in towards those back hip pockets. And on that next breath, lift all the way up. Feel the tummy draw in. Lift through the pelvic floor. Rotate, but stay tall through the spine. We're going to inhale to lift those arms. Exhale, draw the elbows in towards the back hip pockets. Inhale to lift. And exhale, take it over to that left side and hold it there. Let's roll the shoulders back, lift up through the breastbone, and then bring your gaze back to center. So feel that left shoulder roll all the way back. We're going to drop our ear to that right side, feeling a nice long stretch from the tip of our ear lobe, down through the neck, over top of the shoulder. Keep reaching with that left hand really, really long. Relax into that neck and think about lengthening and lifting away from the shoulders so that the neck is long as you find that stretch. Go ahead and turn slightly to look towards that neck or underarm and tuck the chin in just a little bit. Feeling that nice long stretch at the back of the neck. And then slowly bring the gaze back up to center and back towards the side. Let's inhale our hands all the way up, big stretch, and exhale to the other side. Roll the right shoulder back, allow the breastbone to lift, and then bring your gaze back to the front. Let's go ahead and bring that shoulder to that same side ear. Lengthening through the crown of the head, relax the hips. And then slowly take that gaze towards the tip of the shoulder. Tuck the chin and slightly lift out the back of the neck. And feel that stretch move up through the back. Keep reaching that right hand down towards the ground. Feel nice and relaxed. Slowly bring the head back up to center and take it back to the side. Let's inhale those hands all the way up. And exhale, let them float down. We're going to open our legs a little bit wider, come into the little cobra's pose, and just give them a little flutter into our butterfly. Again, finding those sit bones beneath you. Go ahead and tip forward just a little bit. We're going to guide those knees open with the elbow, draw the pelvic floor up. And this time, just tuck the chin and round out through the upper back. Imagine your thighs lengthen away from those hip sockets, rolling the upper thigh back and lengthening through the neck. Let's go ahead and come up. We're going to keep our right leg in and we're going to lengthen our left leg out. And if this isn't comfortable for you, go ahead and lengthen that leg out in front. We're going to turn our toe up. Again, you can stay on that little cushion or you can come down onto that floor, whatever is easiest for you. As we come into a single leg forward fold, so inhale the hands all the way up. We're going to take our outside arm and tuck it to the outside of that thigh as we start to reach our right hand towards that left foot. You can let it settle on the shin or it can come to the toe. But go ahead and use your outside thigh to just shift your body so that your spine lines up over top of that extended leg. Again, you might find it easier to be up on your foam block, lifting just a little bit higher as you come forward. And I want you to think about lengthening first. Activate through those toes. Maybe use... Hopefully you can't hear that. My phone is ringing. I can't stop it. But lengthen through the crown of your head, lifting through the spine and pressing the belly towards the thigh. Tip the tail back. So this is a long hamstring and thumb stretch, not a back stretch yet. Find your breath. Relax into that right hip again. If that's not comfortable, lengthen it out to the side. Let's take one more breath. And then as you exhale, go ahead and curl down towards that leg. Now pull your belly up into your spine. Feel the stretch over the back, into that lower spine, lower back. Opening up through the blades. And then when you're ready, come on up. Let's switch legs, drawing the other one in, lengthen the other one out to the side. Nothing crazy, nothing exciting. Tucking that foot in again, let that knee, give yourself a little bit of a shuffle. Inhale, coming all the way up. Exhale, bring that outside hand to the outside of the thigh. So not the knee joint, just the thigh. And then start to reach, start to lengthen. Come to the fronts of the sit bones. Come into the pelvic floor as you shift forward. Hand can be wherever it lands. Your option, you can use the strap if you want to bring you a little bit closer. And then just use that leg to allow your spine to lift up and line it up with that extended leg. Watch that knee joint. Watch that it doesn't lock out, but keep a softness in it. And then lift out the crown of the head as you inhale. Exhale, belly to thighs, you exhale. Relax those shoulders. Inhale to lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale to lift. And exhale to fold. And let's take one more deep, deep breath. And as you exhale, just allow that body to fold over top of that front leg. And then slowly come back up. Go ahead and extend both legs. Give them a little bit of a shake. Maybe come up onto your little block again. We have one more stretch before we come up into our knees. So I want you to cross your legs again. But if this is the way you naturally do it, then I want you to take it in the opposite direction. So relax the hips, come up onto your block nice and tall, draw that tummy in, lift up through that breastbone. We're gonna take the tips of our fingertips onto the tips of our shoulders and just move through shoulder circles. But I want you to think about maybe drawing those elbows together. We're gonna make big butterfly wings. We're gonna come up and then think about maybe drawing your wrists together behind you, but try not to drop your neck. Go ahead and draw those elbows out to the side. Bring those elbows together. Bring the wrists together and down. So imagine that there's big butterfly wings and you're just making them, drawing around the outside seam of them. We're gonna go 2 more in this direction. And just be aware of where the tightness that you might have held up into your shoulders. And then let's see if we can go in the other direction. We'll take 4 big circles. Think nice and long through the neck as you do this. Maybe the wrists don't quite touch at this time. Just become aware of where that tightness is being held. Let's take 1 more. And hold. Let's bring those hands together. Go ahead and bring them all the way down. Let's inhale all the way up for a nice stretch of the wrists. Exhale, come back down. Inhale, back up. And let's do it one more time. Let's lengthen the other direction, a nice stretch of the wrists. And come back down. Very nice. Let's bring those knees together, just tuck them off to the side. We're gonna come up onto all fours into a little table pose. So stack those wrists directly below your shoulders. Take those knees directly below the hips and then lengthen the toes behind you. See if you can spread those fingers nice and wide to put pressure into the pads of the fingers, not just through the wrist. So you want to take some of the pressure off the wrist here. And then think about lifting the arches up. We're going to turn the eyes of the elbows forward by rolling those shoulders wide and back. Draw the navel in, lengthen the toes behind you. Let's draw the belly in, rounding out, widen up through the back, coming into our cat. And then inhale, come up into our cow. Pull shoulders wide and back. Exhale, round out. Inhale, lift up. And as you come into that cow pose, think nice and long through the spine, up through the crown of the head. As you lift, so try to avoid any compression through that low back. One more time, round out. And inhale to lift. Let's exhale, draw that navel in, come into that nice neutral spine. Little gap in that low back. Walk your hands forward and come into that little bit of a modified plank. Drawing it in through the navel, pulling up through the belly, widen the shoulders, lengthening to the crown of the head. And breathe. We're going to tuck those elbows right into the rib cage, turn them back, and slowly lower belly button and breastbone down at the same time. Lengthen your toes behind you. Push into the tops of your toes, knees coming off the ground. Pull the navel off the floor. Inhale, elbows to hips, lift through the crown of the head. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. Imagine the crown of the head reaching away from the spine reaching away from the hips, the toes lengthening in the opposite direction. Let's take 1 more breath. And exhale. Taking a deep breath in, we're going to exhale and push through the arms. See if you can pull belly button and breastbone off at the same time. Reverse your push up all the way up. And take that tail right back to child's pose. So curl that tail down towards your heels as you reach the arms. Armpits down towards your mat. Let's tuck our toes under, spread our fingers nice and wide. Lift our tail up and back. Push out of your hands. Pull the shoulders wide and back and roll your biceps towards the ears as you come into your first downward dog. So thinking about your downward dog, crease right at those hips, shoulders opening up so you're wide across the collar and pushing out of your hands so that your weight comes to your toes and your heels. Lifting up. Let's press those heels down towards the ground. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, down. Keep tilting your tail up. Inhale to lift. And exhale. Have a look at your ankles. Keep them nice and strong in both directions. Go ahead and lift up tall onto your toes. This time lower to your shin bones. Take your tail back into that child's pose first. We're going to add some activity between these two poses as we come into our teeter-totter. So go ahead and lift all the way up. Allow your body to float forward. Inhale. And then exhale, lowering down to the ground. Take a deep breath here. Lifting up, open through the heart. Exhale, come down. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, push on up all the way back to your child's pose. Open up through the shoulders. Take one big breath here. Go ahead and inhale. Allow the body to shift forward, elbows over top of wrists as you come down. Inhale, little baby cobra. Exhale. Take a deep breath in at the ground and then exhale, reverse that push up all the way up and tail to the earth. Go ahead and take it one more time, lifting, lowering. This time stay here. Take your fingertips towards your feet. Lengthen and lift your toes just a little bit or widen them just a little bit. This time we're going to float up into our back bend. Think about our little skydiver pose and exhale to lower down. Maybe right ear to the ground. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, other ear to the ground. Inhale, drawing in through the navel, lengthening, feel that back bend. Exhale. One more time. And exhale. Very nice. Inhale, come all the way up. Let's see if we can hold it here and take 3 deep breaths. Notice if your body starts to rock a little. Inhaling and exhaling. Let's take one more breath. Exhale, hands down towards the armpits and reverse that push up. Take the heels to the ground. Tail down towards those heels. And just find that little bit of a stretch. Keeping fingers nice and wide, let's tuck those toes under. Lift the tail up and back, coming into your downward dog. Lifting up through that tail, we're going to extend our right leg up. Feel that nice big stretch. And we're going to exhale and we're going to take it all the way to the outside of that right hand. If it doesn't get there, grab it from behind and slide it forward. We're just going to feel that stretch so it's a little bit wider. We've done this one before, a little bit wider than hip width apart. And we're going to keep our left hand directly below our shoulder. But we're going to start to swing that right hand into that right hip pocket, into a little rotation. Your back knee can come to the ground if you choose. So find the option that's going to work for you. We want to make sure that that knee stays in the same direction as our toe, just a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. And then we squeeze that inner thigh just a little bit. Your hand can stay here as you come into your twist pose, or you can reach all the way up. So find your option. And if this starts to bother your wrist, just take a little bit of a break, give it a little bit of a stretch, and then move back into your pose. And we haven't done this one in a while, but we're going to come into a little side plank, and we're going to do it as a figure 4 side plank. So we're going to heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe. To bring that foot out to the side, again, knee still lines up with that toe. So keep it stacked right over top. And we're going to keep this hand or into our forearm, I'll do both, as we come to the outside seam of that back foot, and then open up. So your option is to come down onto that knee, come down onto that forward, keep that knee lifted, or just bring those feet together. So your option, there's lots of options to that side plank. Find what's gonna work for you. Pick it and hold it. And let's see if we can hold for maybe another 2 or 3 breaths. And last one. We're just gonna bring that leg back in. We're gonna tip back up onto that toe. We're gonna step those feet together and go ahead and just pedal them out. Let's find one little flow here. Come up onto our toes. Shift into that nice tall plank. Or again, option to lower the knees. Inhale to lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale. Inhale that little baby cobra, or maybe take it a little bit higher this time into an upward facing dog. Lower on down. Exhale, reverse your push up. Back to child's pose first if you want, or right back to your down dog. As we move to the other side. Go ahead and extend that left leg all the way up. And exhale, step to the outside of that left hand, lowering your hips down. Make sure that knee and that foot are in the same direction. Again, you can use your little mouse pad. You can lower that knee down. Stack your hand below the shoulder. And I'm going to be opposite to you. Walk your hand to that hip, rotate, or open up. So again, feel that squeeze. We really want to make sure that toe and that knee are in the same direction. Whatever that option is for you. You might have to flip around this way. And then when you're ready for your side plank, go ahead and heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe. Come to the outside seam of that back foot, making sure knee and toe are in that same direction. Hand can be on the hip, you can lift it up. You can lower to that knee. You can lower to that forearm. Whatever option, just watch that knee doesn't fall. And keep nice and strong through that ankle. Drawing through the belly. Let's hold for another 2 or 3 breaths. And last one. Go ahead and bring that hand down, tuck that leg in, tuck your toes in, push right back to that down dog. Let's take one flow here, coming forward. Inhale, exhale, chaturanga down. Inhale that little baby cobra or upward dog. Let's go ahead and tuck those toes under, take it right back to down dog. Soften your knees here and slowly walk your hands back. Grabbing onto elbows and just hang. I want you to relax through your shoulders. You're gonna be at the back end of your mat. I'm just gonna turn this a little bit. And I want you just to feel nice and relaxed. And then go ahead and bring your hands to your hip creases. Taking a deep breath in, let's exhale, come halfway up. Draw your shoulders back, tummy's tight. Take a deep breath here. Exhale, squeeze your glutes and come the rest of the way up. Reach the arms. And exhale down to heart center. And then bring those hands right down to your hips. We're gonna take your right foot and just step forward a little bit. Feel nice and balanced. And start to point your back toe towards the back of your mat. So I want you to think about squaring yourself out. Pull your pelvic floor up and then shift your weight over just a little bit as we come into this balanced pose. We're going to take our palms down towards the side. Chest is nice and wide and open. And start to hinge from that hip. So everything is in a nice long line from the crown through the spine up through the toe. We're pointing our toe at this time. Lengthening through the crown, feel nice and wide through the front of the chest. Look at that little spot to focus on. Maybe it's a little bit longer for you, a little higher, or maybe it's here. Find what works for you, but keep those fingers drawn back. Keep that chest nice and wide. And then as you inhale, start to bring your body forward, bring your leg forward, bring your foot up. Go ahead and bring that same hand to that shin bone. The other one can come out to the side for balance. Flexing that foot at this time, we're bumping the hip out, and we're gonna open up. Hips stay forward as you widen. And this might look like this if you need just a little bit more. If you're really flexible and you have the strength, maybe it's a little yogi toe lock and extending that leg out to the side. So pick your option. Nice thing is you are here in your home. You can grab a wall if you want to try it. Play with the pose, see how that feels for you. And then go ahead and cross that ankle over top of the thigh, sinking those hips back into that figure four chair pose. Shoulders are wide. Maybe you're here. Maybe you're here. Maybe you're here. So find your option, but keep that tail lengthening. Keep your spine long, keep your chest lifted. Keep that foot flexed. Let's hold for 2 more deep breaths. And last one. Very nice. Go ahead and come on up, squeezing those legs a little bit closer together, and then sink down. Now you can stay here, your toe can tuck behind your calf, it can come to the ground, whatever works for you. Hands out to the side. Now that you're at your home, maybe look in the mirror. See if you can keep those hips square as you squeeze into our eagle legs, or whether you've dropped one side or the other side. So see what you can find works best for you. Maybe hands stay up here today. We're gonna take the same arm as that top leg, wrap it under the other arm. Either come into a modified eagle arm pose or twist tie those arms. Find that spot to focus on again. So rotating and squeezing, everything stays nice and square. Great time to find that little mirror. Or just becoming aware of what your body is doing. Lengthening that tail back. Maybe balance isn't your thing tonight. Then find another option. See if you lift your elbows just a little bit as you widen through the back of the floor. Sink a little lower for 3, maybe 2, maybe 1 more. Step all the way up. Big stretch. Front foot in front of the back foot. And then hands into those back hip pockets. So I want you to find that shift forward and back. See if we can get those toes in that one nice long line, or widen them just a bit. And then let's roll the tips of the shoulders back as you widen across the breastbone. Pull the belly button up and lengthen out of the tail. Your hands can settle into those back hip pockets. They can stack, or they can come into that reverse prayer position as we settle into our balance beam. And I want you just to close your eyes or just lower your gaze. But see if you can keep that chin parallel to the floor, crown lifting, and weight evenly distributed between front foot and back foot. Pushing out of the mounds rather than gripping with your toes. And just settle into your pose, starting down at your feet, pressing the arches up away from your mat, grounding into those mounds, lifting up through the ankles. Softening the knees and then pulling those kneecaps up by engaging through those front thighs. Lifting up through the hips, draw the belly button in and up. A gentle lift of the pelvic floor. Feeling that lift of the spine, one vertebrae at a time, and an openness of the heart as you tip the shoulders back, tucking the chin to lift through the crown of the head. Very nice. Let's open our eyes, inhale our hands all the way up tall, and exhale, let them float down towards the sides of the body. Shift your body weight forward. Shift your weight into that front leg. And this time, start to point your back to back. Again, drawing in through the belly, up through the pelvic floor. That's your stability. Start to lift. Lifting out of that supporting knee. So watch that you're not locking your knee out, but lifting it. Little micro bend. Opening through the heart. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. As you start to float forward into that toppling tree. Again, you might be here. Totally fine. Think about crown in one direction, toe in the other. Or you might be here. Let's see if we can hold for another 2 or 3 breaths. Okay to feel that wobble. It means those muscles are working nice and hard. And then go ahead and start to come through. Flex that foot as you come up. Go ahead and take same side hand. The other one's there for balance. And we're still going to shift that body weight over a little bit as we start to open up. Flexing into that foot. Again, maybe for a little bit wider stretch, you're here. Or if you want to do that togi yogi toe lock, togi yo lock, there you go. So you find what works for you. Maybe you have a strap. Find that little spot to focus on. Flex that foot for nice stability. Open through the heart. Two more deep breaths to lengthen. Drawing in through that belly. And then when you're ready, go ahead, take that leg across. Keep the knee open. Sink down into that chair pose, figure 4. Draw the shoulders back, wide through the chest. Maybe this is you, maybe this is you, maybe this is you. I want you to find whatever's gonna work for you to keep the spine long and keep that knee open. Maybe you find that your mat is too squishy for your balance poses. If it is, go ahead and step onto the floor. Feel a little bit more rooted. Find the spot to focus on. Lift through the breastbone, lengthen through the tail, draw the belly in. Don't forget about the pelvic floor. That's your stability through the pelvis. And then go ahead and slide into those eagle arms, a nice, or eagle legs. A nice squeeze through those inner thighs, maybe toe rests on the ground. You decide. Or maybe you're able to tuck it around the back of the calf. Same as your top leg, that arm goes under. Wrap the hands around. Modified for a nice, big, well-deserved hug. Or come into twist tight arms. Lifting up through the elbows. Let's sink a little bit deeper for 3. Maybe a little deeper for 2. Oh, very nice. And 1, lift up. Front foot in front of back foot. Oh, lovely. Step forward and back. See if you can balance out again, finding front foot and back foot equal. Hands resting into the back hip pockets. If you had them stacked, reverse. If you had them in reverse prayer position, change which thumb is on top. Tips of the shoulders roll back. Breastbone lifts up. Navel draws in. And then again, find that little spot to focus on without dropping the chin. And go ahead and close your eyes. Or just soften your gaze. Taking your awareness down to your feet. Pressing mounds into your mat or into the earth, lifting the arches. Lifting up through the ankles, the shins. Softening the knees and pulling the knees up. Keeping those hip bones square to the front, so watch you haven't shifted. Draw up through the pelvic floor, in through the navel, lifting through the spine. Feel a lift at the breastbone. Tuck the chin, lift the crown, soften the muscles of the face. Let's take 4 more deep breaths. And last one. Go ahead and open your eyes. Inhale the hands all the way up. You should be at the top of your mat. Just step those feet together. Exhale, swan dive forward. Lift the tail. Grab onto the opposite elbow and go in the other direction to what you previously had done. Relax the shoulders, relax the back. Lift the tail. Maybe knees are a little bit softer. And just allow gravity to release through the spine, through the neck. Maybe a nod here or there, or a little side to side. Let's relax our hands down to the ground. We're going to tuck our tummy in and we're going to round up this time. 1 vertebrae at a time. Feel like a big rag doll. When you get to the top, take a deep breath in. And then exhale, down you go. Fingertips touching the floor. You're going to lower your sit bones. You're going to come into that little chair pose. Drawing those shoulders back. We're going to shift our body weight over to that left leg. I'm going to step back from my right leg. Step back with your right leg. And go ahead and come up into a nice tall lunge to start. See if we still have music. So coming into that chair, tall lunge, lift up nice and tall. See if you can rotate that tail first and then lengthen that back leg. So hands might settle onto your hips as you open through the chest. We're just going to take 1 breath as you draw down. Inhale to come all the way up, keeping that front knee pointed forward. Exhale and pivot that back leg. So you should just come into that nice warrior 2 without making too many adjustments. Maybe you have to slide it back a little bit. Have a look at that front foot, see if it lands in the arch of the back foot. And then reach those hands out. We're going to turn our thumbs up here. Bend that knee right over top of the ankle. Feel the spine lift. A nice stretch in through the groin here as we roll those thighs open. Lower the back arm, lift the front arm, come into a little exalted warrior. Opening through that chest. And then exhale right into that side angle pose. So really great chance to give that long line, long side body a nice big stretch. Again, making sure that knee is right over top of that ankle. Opening up through the heart. This time, lengthen that front leg, open. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. 2 more. Nice movement through the hips after those eagle poses. And last one. Go ahead and come into that side angle pose. Lift up through the arm, lower that bottom arm to open up a little bit more. Feel free to stay here in that bent-legged triangle or lengthen it. Tip that tail up to create that spine, that nice long spine from the tail to the crown, and let the hand settle wherever it might settle. Maybe it's on your shin, maybe it's on your foot, or on the inside of your calf, maybe it's on a block. Allow the hip bone to come down rather than rounding out. So see if you can really tuck it back. Good. Opening through the chest. Let's hold here, feeling that nice long stretch. Taking a deep breath in, push out that front leg, come all the way up. Rotate toes forward, lift tall. Exhale, forward fold. Hands wherever you want them. Maybe they come into the toes, the shins, the outsides of the feet. And go ahead, maybe just give your hips a little shift side to side. We're just going to finish off with a twist on both sides.
Coming up, putting your right hand right below your shoulders or come onto a knuckle. Tightly, or lift up through the opposite arm, tuck it into that low back. This is going to keep your back from shifting side to side. Keeping those knees soft, pointing the same direction your toe, and roll open or lift. So your option. Go ahead and lift up tall. Bring that hand back down to meet. Go ahead and make that knuckle or down to your hand, your choice. Slide that other hand up towards the hips, pressing those hips back, or lift up tall. Watch when you lift, yep, wrong direction, but watch when you lift this hand that your shoulder isn't lifting too, that the shoulder stays back. Lifting through that tail, feel that rotation right through the ribcage, not through those hips. Belly button pulled in, wherever you want to be. Lengthening through the crown of the head, up through the neck. Take 2 more deep breaths. Last one. Exhale. Bring that hand back down. Go ahead and soften. You can bend a little bit deeper, maybe bend your knees a little bit. We're going to bring those hands to the hip creases. Take a deep breath in, halfway up. Take a deep breath in, the rest of the way up. Lift those hands. Exhale, turn that toe. Have a look at that back foot, just making sure that the toe is slightly forward or parallel to the back of your mat. And that that front foot lands in the arch of the back foot. So sink into it, tall spine. We're going to lower that back arm, lift the front arm, opening through that chest. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. So you're in a nice long line. So you want to watch that we're not reaching, but that we're lifting and lengthening. Inhale to lengthen that front leg this time. Exhale to reach. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to reach. And one more time. We're going to come into that side angle pose. Feel free to stay there. Or lift that hand, lower the opposite one. Stay here in a bent leg triangle or lengthen it. Tipping your tail back. So I want to make sure that that pelvis moves, bringing that right hip bone onto that right thigh bone. And hand resting wherever it might rest. Let's all bend that front leg at this time, taking that deep breath in, bring our hands all the way back up into that warrior two. And then inhale to lift, rotating that back toe into that tall lunge. Opening up through the heart, opening up through the chest, draw the elbows into the back hip pocket. Inhale to lift. Exhale, hands down to the ground. Step back into that downward dog. And just pedal at the hips. And then come up tall onto the toes. Exhale, knees go wide. Come down into that wide-legged child's pose. And then walk hands to the hips. Try to curl that tail down. Go ahead, bring your hands to your armpits, slowly come up. You're going to swing your legs around to the front, coming onto your sit bones. Again, just find them. Lift it nice and tall. Curl that tail under. Lifting up through the chest. Go ahead and inhale that hand to lift. Exhale, come down. Inhale the other hand to lift. And exhale, come down. Open up through the heart, thumbs out to the side. Let's round out. Inhale, lift up. And this time, slowly go right to the ground. We're going to bring those knees with us, right into those armpits, and just rock side to side. Feeling that gentle massage into the back, in through the hips, across that waistband. And go ahead and just keep that right leg in, extend that left leg out. Tuck it in nice and tight first. We're going to press up through the heel or lotus foot. Nudge the right hip down, lengthen to the side body. Relax your top ankle. And maybe that just means a couple rotations in one direction and then the other. Let's see if we can lengthen wide through our back and through our collar. Go ahead and start to slide that knee across the body. Rotating that hip on top of the lower hip. And then go ahead and relax your bottom foot this time. Drawing that belly in to lengthen the spine as you find this rotation. And just become curious with your pose. Maybe push that right hip away, or that top hip away. Notice how that feels. Relax into this pose for another 3 breaths. Feeling those blades settle into your mat. And then slowly bring yourself back. Let's draw the other knee in. Push the other one out. Pressing up through that lotus foot or that heel. Feel that little massage into the belly. Maybe rotate through the ankle. One direction and then the other. And then opposite hand to that opposite leg, slowly start to bring it across. Again, rotating the hip on top of the other. Relaxing your bottom foot at this time. Draw the belly in, lengthening the tail down to your opposite leg. Blades widen into your mat. Feel this really nice rotation through the hips now. The waist and the hips, the rib cage stays wide. And then on our last breath, let's just bring that leg back to center. And lengthen both legs out long as we finish off in our resting pose. Or maybe that means bent legs, knees in. You decide where your resting pose is. Maybe hands are settled or they're open up. And I want you just to close your eyes and just enjoy these last couple of minutes. Allow your body to settle into your mat. Taking a little focus onto your toes, working up through the calves, up through the thighs. Bring a little activity into the bum, and then let it soften. Allowing those hips to just gently roll open and relax. Still drawing in through the navel, but lifting up through that natural low back position. The sacrum flattening into the floor, the rib cage widening into your mat. Collar is open, tips of the shoulders rolling open and back. Arms becoming heavy as they melt into the earth. The chin tucks slightly to feel the length of the back of the neck. And the crown reaches towards the end of your mat. Just allow the muscles of the face to soften. Relax into the jaw. And take some really big, deep cleansing breaths. With every exhalation, allowing your body just to melt into the earth beneath it. Just free of tension, free of worry, and free of stress. And feel free to stay here a little longer if you'd like to. Or when you're ready, slowly draw those knees one by one back into the belly. A little gentle rock side to side. We're going to roll onto that one side into a little fetal position. And hang out here for a breath or two. And then whenever you're ready, that top hand is going to come onto the earth. We're going to slowly bring ourselves up into a cross-legged position. Again, finding our sit bones firm and even to the earth beneath us. Feel a lift of the spine and openness of the heart. With your next breath in your hands, just lift and gaze towards the sky. We're going to bring our palms back together and just tuck them down to heart center. I'm so grateful that we have this opportunity and the technology to be able to share this practice together virtually. Thank you for the time to make time in your day to spend with us. And continue to take that time day to day and just take care of you. I miss you all, and namaste. And we will see you in my living room next week for a new one. Thanks. Have a great week, everyone.